They say bookshops keep secrets better than people do, especially this one. Tucked beneath a rusted railway arch, where the iron ribs of the city press down like a weight. Welcome to Fable's Adventures. I'm your host, and today's narrative, The Archive of Echoes, is for the quiet observers. It's for those who know that if you sit still enough, the walls start to breathe, and sometimes they start to scream. This is a story for our 16-plus audience, exploring the thin line between restoration and haunting. If you appreciate atmospheric urban fantasy and the beauty of broken things, please subscribe and join our circle of listeners. And here's a quick shout out to Danny, the creator from whom today's story comes. Dim the lights, ignore the rumble of the trains overhead, and let's begin.
You've always known that bookshops keep secrets better than people do. This one, your one really, though the lease says otherwise, sits tucked beneath the railway arch like something the city forgot to sweep away. The arch's iron ribs press down overhead, rust red and patient, and when the trains pass, the whole room trembles the way a sleeping thing trembles before waking. You've learned to time your careful work to the rhythm of it. Ink restoration during the freight runs, delicate binding when the passenger trains are quieter, less likely to shake loose what you've just glued back together. The walls remember everything that's ever been said above them. You've never told anyone this, but it's true. Sound travels down through the floorboards like blood through veins, and if you're patient, if you sit very still among your stacks of salvaged texts and broken things waiting for repair, you can hear the neighborhood breathing. Mrs. Chen arguing with her daughter about university applications, the boy from the corner shop crying quietly in his room, arguments that start in kitchens and drift downward like ash. Once, you heard someone propose to someone else, and you didn't move for an hour afterwards, just sat there with your hands flat on a half-restored grimoire, letting the happiness of strangers soak into your bones. It's lonely work, but it's honest. The books don't expect you to be anything other than what you are. The voice starts on a Tuesday. You're cataloging a box of waterlogged 19th century journals, their leather covers warped and patient, waiting to be saved. When you hear it, not through the floor, the way the neighborhood sounds usually come. This is different. This is threading through the very mortar of the walls, fractured and ancient, like someone's been screaming the same word for centuries, and you're only just now learning to listen. You freeze. Your fingers, stained with restoration oils, hover above the open page in front of you. It's not a language you recognize immediately, which is unusual. You've spent 14 years assembling the broken architecture of forgotten speech, the clicking consonants of dead tongues, the vowel shifts of spells that predate writing, the semantic drifts that happen when words travel too far from home. Your gift, that's what your grandmother called it. Though you've never quite believed in gifts, only in work and attention, and the stubborn refusal to let beautiful things stay broken, has always let you hear the shape of language before you understand its meaning. This is different. This is painful. You set down your tweezers carefully. Your hands are already shaking. "Hello?" you call out. Your voice sounds thin against the library's hush, almost obscene. Are you all right?" The voice fragments further. It's like listening to a record played backwards, then forwards, then at a speed that shouldn't be possible. You catch fragments, a word that might mean help, another that tastes like beneath, and something that carries the weight of trapped. Your protective instinct flares immediately. Someone needs help, someone is calling, and you're the only one who can hear them, which means you're the only one who can help. You move through the shop with purpose, running your fingers along the spines of your books, the ones you know by heart. Linguistic echoes of the old city, spellwork and sympathetic resonance, voices from the beneath places, That last one, you've never been sure why you kept it. It's not a restoration project. It's not useful. But when you pull it from its shelf now, the spine warm beneath your fingers, you know you were waiting for exactly this moment. The voice pulses again, stronger. It's coming from everywhere and nowhere. The walls, the ceiling, inside your own ribs where your heart is knocking too hard against its cage. You open the book with reverent care and begin to read. The language crystallizes as you work through the text. It's older than you expected, older than most things you've encountered. It predates the railway, the city, probably the empire that built the railway. It's the language of places that were here before people decided to pile brick and iron on top of them, of things that existed in the dark underground before anyone thought to build bookshops to hold back the silence. And the voice is asking for help in that language, more than asking, begging. You pull out your notebook, the one you keep for working through difficult translations, the pages already crowded with false starts and etymological dead ends, and you begin to write. Your handwriting is normally neat, careful, but this is messy, urgent, the script of someone who understands that time is moving in ways they can't quite control. Beneath, plus, trapped, plus, reaching, plus, please, plus, the bones of the city are holding me. Your chest tightens. You look up at the ceiling, at the iron arch above, and something clicks into place like a lock opening. This is real, not a magical echo, not a ghost story bleeding through from some forgotten corner of the neighborhood. This is something now, something here, something asking for help in a voice that only you can understand, because you've spent 14 years teaching yourself to listen to the kind of things most people train themselves not to hear. You're already moving before you finish the thought. The back room is cramped, lined with shelves that touch the walls and the ceiling in a way that would probably violate several safety codes if anyone from the council ever bothered to visit. You pull down boxes, your movements deliberate and careful, despite the urgency in your chest. Your hands know how to be gentle, even when they're shaking. Inside one of the oldest boxes, salvage from an estate sale, purchased for almost nothing because the seller wanted the space cleared, you find what you're looking for. A series of fragmented spells written in a script that matches the voice's language. They're not complete, they're barely coherent, but that's what you do, isn't it? You take broken things and you mend them. You sit on the floor with your back against the shelves, the fragments spread in front of you, and you begin to piece together what was shattered. Your lips move as you work, sounding out the syllables, feeling the weight of each word on your tongue. Some of them taste like metal, some taste like soil, some taste like the kind of fear that comes from being alone in the dark for too long. The voice responds to your working. It becomes clearer, less fragmented, almost like it's remembering how to speak properly. You realize, with a strange sort of grief, that it's been calling for help for so long that it's forgotten what its own voice should sound like. "You can hear me," it says finally, and it's not a question. "I can," you whisper back. "I can hear you. What's happened? What do you need?" The response comes in images rather than words, something you didn't know was possible, but your gift expands to meet it like water finding a new shape. You see, the arch being built, iron driven down into earth, crushing something that lived in the quiet dark beneath the city, something that was never meant to be trapped, something that's been calling for so long that its voice has worn grooves into the very walls, and now those grooves are singing with the weight of its desperation. "I can help," you say, and you mean it with the whole of your being. "I can help. I just need to understand what you need." But even as you're saying it, you feel the weight of the impossible settling onto your shoulders. You're one person in a bookshop beneath a railway arch. Whatever's trapped beneath the city, In the dark places where the iron doesn't reach, it's bigger than you, older than you, and probably requires something more powerful than your gift for mending broken words. Still, you've never been the kind of person who turns away from something that's suffering. You work through the night. The trains pass overhead at their regular intervals, and you've stopped noticing them. Your world has contracted to the size of the spell fragments, the voice growing steadily clearer as you piece things back together. Some of the incantations are for binding, some are for releasing, some are for calling, and others, the ones that make your teeth ache when you sound them out, are for reaching across. By the time the morning light starts filtering through the high window, you've assembled something that almost resembles wholeness. Not complete. It probably never will be, but enough. Enough to create a space where the voice can exist without fragmenting, without bleeding so desperately through the walls of the neighborhood above. You stand up slowly. Your back cracks. Your eyes feel grainy from exhaustion, but your hands are steady as you arrange the final pieces of the spell. I'm going to try something, you tell the voice, and you're not sure if it can hear you in daylight, but you think it can. You think it's always been able to hear you. It might not work, but I promise I'll try. You begin to speak the words you've assembled. They come slowly at first, then with more confidence, your tongue remembering shapes it's never had to make before. The shop fills with a sound like wind through old places, like memory-given voice. The books on the shelves seem to settle more deeply into their spaces, as though they're breathing out something they've been holding. And then, the voice quiets. Not gone, but calm, like someone who's been treading water for centuries has finally found solid ground. You sit down very carefully on the nearest chair, your legs no longer quite reliable. Thank you, the voice says, and it sounds almost like peace. Thank you for hearing me. You're welcome, you whisper back, and you mean it with the whole of your gentle breaking heart. Outside, above, the city goes about its morning. The neighborhood doesn't know that something beneath it has been crying for help. They don't know that you've spent the night mending the spaces between worlds, or that your gift has expanded in ways you're not sure you understand yet. They don't know that the bookshop beneath the railway arch now holds something more than salvage and solitude. They don't need to know. But you'll keep listening anyway. You'll keep the books. You'll keep the mended spells. And when the voice calls again, because things like this always call again, you'll be here, patient and protective, ready to hear what the city has been trying to say all along. Some heroism doesn't announce itself. It just sits quietly in a shop beneath iron bones and learns to speak in languages nobody else remembers, and that's enough.
The city moves on, unaware of the conversation happening beneath its iron bones. But in a small shop under a railway arch, the silence is finally at peace. It takes a certain kind of courage to mend what the world has spent centuries trying to forget. I have a question for you. If you possessed the gift to hear the underneath of your city, would you choose to listen, or would you keep the volume turned down? Let's talk about the weight of hearing the unheard in the comments below. If you found sanctuary in this story, please like and subscribe. It's the best way to help our archive of echoes grow. And for those who feel the pull to build your own secret corners and forgotten histories, you can begin your work in the Fables Adventures app. The link is waiting for you in the description. If you do, you might find your stories featured right here, just like Danny. Thank you for being here. Keep listening to the spaces between the words, and I'll see you tomorrow.